What's up? It's Juice Beats, back again with another race video. And this one is the Music City Crit Series number 9. We're going around the 180 again today. And it's another hot one out there. You can see nice and bright sun, beautiful skies. And it's gonna also be another fast one for us out here. And here's the stats for this one. So another 40-minute race, average 25 miles an hour, 300 watts with a 1425 max. Normalized power 357 in this one. Let's see, the average temperature, it says, just this is coming from my Garmin's. I don't know if this is completely correct, but 92.1 degrees up to 96.8 degrees. So that could just be the heat that was on the track that day, or it could be the actual temperature. I'm not sure, but it was a hot one. Definitely, I think I had the ice pack in this one as well. So trying to keep cool and make sure that I stayed nice and cold, at least for the first part of the race before it started to melt. Another one where I felt like I needed to stay closer to the front in this one, so I was trying to stay within, the top 10 wheels again. I know that, it had been basically a month since the last race that we did out here. So the reason it got broke up, so we were out there June 4th, I believe, was the last race out here. And then it got broken up, and this next race was held on July 2nd. So we were basically held up because they had, soccer events and things like that. So they couldn't get the track at the time. And so July 2nd was the very next date that they could get. So the 2nd and the 9th were the last 2 dates in the series. And so we basically had like a month layover between that and this one. So it kind of felt like a brand new season almost, getting back out there, but definitely felt nice and refreshed. Like I got in, a few pretty good group rides back in Nashville and got some good training in there, and felt like I got stronger in between that time as well, and was able to kind of, I guess, because the races were kind of almost back-to-back weeks at some points, was able to kind of recuperate as well. So definitely feeling good out here, and feeling pretty confident in my racing abilities and everything. So we already, it looks like I think this is lap 2. Yeah, lap 2. And we already have, a flyer off the front there. And, we're trying to respond here. Trying to make sure that, like I said earlier, I'm staying up close to the front. I know when we do the 180 out here, staying close to the front, just because it's somewhat technical, definitely helps you out a lot. You get much better lines going around the 180, and you can also see some of those moves that go and decide whether or not you're going to chase them or not. From what I remember about this day, I don't think I took the 180 actually grabbing any breaks throughout the race. There are just, so many times that I've done the 180 course and I've gone through and I've had to grab brakes just a little bit, not much, but just a little bit to slow down to go through there and, kind of avoid people sometimes. But I felt like on this day when we actually got out there and did this race, that I was up there enough where I could take my choice line, and I was able to not touch brakes and be able to go through there pretty smoothly. So that was a nice change of pace, I guess, for me at least on this day. Got some good guys in the race. Obviously, Hub, every single week they're going to be out here in numbers and taking over the peloton. And actually, it feels like every week the safety herd, the guys in the pink kits, they kind of multiply every week. So there's new racers, it feels like, in their group, and they've grown a bit. My group has kind of settled down. I think I'm the only one from Grind City in this race, actually. And the reason for that is Derek couldn't make it to this one. I think got caught up with work or something like that. Grant has moved on to Cat 2, so he only does the Pro 1-2 races. And Terrell, unfortunately, had a accident outside of racing. I think he was on just a training ride and by himself, and was hit by a car, and had terrible injuries. He's recuperating, so he's in good spirits. He's doing well. He's been posting on Instagram, and I've talked to him a few times, and we wish him well. We hope he's able to come back soon and get back to racing and get back to riding and everything. But he's got a long road. So shout out to Terrell. Sorry you're going through this, but we're definitely pulling for you, and we definitely wish you well out there. But yeah, so I'm riding solo. So what that means for me in this race is I've got to watch for the big teams and some of the moves that go out front here. And so, my mentality here is, obviously Safety Herd's the big team, and Hub Cycling is the big team. So if they're going to be putting attacks on the front, I'm going to be watching for Safety Herd to, counterattack or to follow those moves. If they do, then I'm going after it. If they don't, then I might just chill and let it go. And, obviously if somebody else in the group is going after it as well, then, follow their wheels. But since I'm by myself, there's really no need for me to make any moves too much in this one, unless I just feel like I am strong enough to attack and get away. Which, if history shows anything of my races, I haven't really been successful in attacking and getting away from the rest of the peloton myself. Yeah. So not too much further in this lap right here. I think this is lap 5. I see out of the corner of my eye, this is Safety Herd going on a flyer out front, and I believe that's a Hub rider that is following them as well. And yeah, like I said earlier, this is, I've got to watch out for that. I've got to see if it's threatening or not. And I've kind of got to decide whether or not I need to go after that, because yeah, it is the two big teams out front. And obviously they've got two teammates out there blocking. And then I see another Hub Cycling guy go, and I'm not really sure exactly why he would put this move on, but since he did, that's when I decided to jump on, because that's a good chance for him to take me up there with the rest of the group here. And that puts me in a good position. So this is Julian just ahead. He's also on Hub. He's not wearing the kit though, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. I wasn't sure if they were he was trying to ride by himself or whatever, but he's with Hub. So just in case you see his kit, just know that he's riding with Hub. And then I believe that is Tyler that went after that as well. So technically you're not supposed to follow your teammates and go after guys like that, but they did. And yeah, that's when I decided, yeah, I've got to go after this. So jumped on it. You can see I put it in this view so that you can kind of see what was going on behind me at the time. So guys are just kind of following my wheel as well. And yeah, I'm looking to see what else is going on here. And it kind of gets shut down at this point. Like, we were closing in on that a little bit, and then we see another one go here. Just a kind of a counterattack there. So I don't know, maybe that was the plan there, to get a little bit of separation, catch up to them, and then counterattack as, you know, the rest of the peloton has caught up. I haven't learned all of the tactics in this, but usually you don't want to follow your teammates, and that is, you know, something that NorCal Cycling preaches a lot. Jeff out there in California, he's been doing racing a lot longer than I have, and probably could tell you a little bit more about what's going on there. But definitely what I've picked up just, you know, watching his videos is you don't follow your teammates when they're out there like that. So I think this is one of the only times where I actually did have to slow down going through the 180, because I did fall back into the group a little bit more than I wanted to at this point. So you'll see me going over 1100 watts here, getting back up. And let's see, do I move up closer to the front here, or do I just kind of sit back? Let's see if I'm actually moving up at all. I'm trying to remember on this day as well if there was any sort of wind, but I think if there was any wind, we did kind of have like a slight tailwind, I guess, at this point. So I don't think it was very significant at all, but yeah, I usually, when the wind is more significant, I'll put that, you know, up there in the direction, but yeah, I don't think it was very significant on this day. It didn't feel like it. So we're all back together. I didn't quite move up yet, but I can see there's a rider out front at the moment, and I'm just kind of following wheels, seeing what the rest of the peloton is doing. And like I said, you know, being by myself, I can't follow everything. I shouldn't, even though in my state race, that's kind of what I did the entire time. But yeah, I definitely didn't want to expel all my energy throughout the race. But then, yeah, I see Julian moving up, going around everybody, so I kind of, you know, followed his wheel a little bit here, and that brought me up many spots in I wasn't trying to completely follow him, but that brought me up many spots into the peloton, and so now I'm sitting in much better position. I can take a choice line here and you know, go around the 180 in a much better position, and not have to use so many watts. So I was a little over 1,000, just, you know, at the peak there, but very, very short. Much better than over 1,100. And yeah, and then not having to sustain it at all as well. So that definitely helps out for the later matches that you need in the race. But yeah, it felt like Julian was on a mission in this one to attack the peloton. I think he was the first one to attack the peloton at the beginning of the race as well. And yeah, he was putting them out there. Let's see, is there another? Yeah, I think there is another rider out front at the moment as well. I'm not on my normal monitor back home, so I'm having to really squint my eyes and try to figure out what's going on in the race at the moment. I'm actually on vacation with the kids, and we had a little bit of downtime, so I was jumping on here trying to make sure I get this video together for you guys. And I know I've been, you know, super late on everything, but you know, I've got to work with what I've got out here. So, all right. So I believe this is lap 10, even though it says lap 9. So yeah, 16 and a half minutes into the race. I believe there's a couple guys out front, and then I see Nick go right here, so I'm gonna follow that definitely. You know, I've been watching the peloton. Yeah, it looks like there's 3 guys out there. I can see them now. So, yeah, when I saw Nick go, I was like, I gotta go. He's gonna try to bridge, and then yeah, that's gonna kickstart the rest of the peloton as well. So they're all behind me at the moment. think, let's see what happens here. I think I looked back to see what was going on, to see who was with me and where the rest of the peloton was, and it looks, obviously it looks like the rest of the peloton's right on us. I believe this was also a preem lap as well, so since it was a preem lap, that could have been, I don't know, a beer preem, or could have been cash, it could have been something else. But I think that's why people were kind of elevating a little bit at that point as well. And then it looks like Safety Herd was going after the other three guys that were out there, and then Nick kind of falls back, and I'm not putting down a ton, and I'm doing over 400 here. I think right now I'm just trying to catch up to them, and I do push out a little bit more here. Let's see what happens. Looks like that Max right behind me as well. Do we get a little bit of separation here? We might. Okay, so I passed up his teammate from Safety Herd, so he's basically just following me. But you can see there's like there's a little bit of a gap there. Maybe I'm looking back there to see where the rest of the peloton is. I'm putting in a pretty good dig here. I think I realized that those guys out there at this point in the race were basically halfway, almost halfway through the race. I felt like if we let them stay out there too much longer or whatever, then it's not going to be good for us, and that's already happened earlier this year. So definitely wanted to make sure that we weren't letting them get too far away. So I think that's what I was thinking at that point, that just making sure that they don't get too far away from us. But then I get a good jump. Obviously, I've been pushing it. I get that good line around the 180 here, and you can see what happens, and I don't even realize it at this point. Like I didn't look back yet, but I'm just trying to bridge up to these three guys here, and it looks like it's Julian and is that Seamus, and I can't tell who the Safety Herd rider is. Sorry about that, but I couldn't tell who it was at the moment. But Max, he did a good job staying on my wheel, getting back up to this group here, and I see them, and then I hear we got a gap. So I heard that behind us, and I didn't like that they were kind of slowing down a little bit. So I went ahead. I had good momentum. I was feeling good, legs feeling good. I went ahead and I was pushing it. If we've got a gap, we need to increase it. We need to keep pushing it. And so now I think what we got? We got 6 in this breakaway here. So decent sized breakaway. Is that right? Do I have 6? Is that how many? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah. I have to count, make sure. But so right now we have 6. There's 2 Safety Herd, and I believe 3 hub cycling. So I'm Grind City by myself, so I don't have anybody really to work with. But I feel like since they're on teams, they're gonna work with each other, and maybe push it at this point. They've got teammates to kind of hold back the rest of the peloton, and we've got it looks like a pretty substantial lead at this point as well, because I can't really see the peloton in the rear view. And so now we've just got to keep pushing it, and we still have half of the race to go. So we're at the halfway point. We obviously can't let up until maybe the last few laps. If we've got a pretty substantial lead, they give us the time and say that we've got, I don't know, a minute or whatever it is. Because I at this point I don't know how far back they are. We haven't got a time from anybody, and when we go past the start finish line, sometimes we'll get a somebody will say, all right, you guys got 10, 15 seconds, whatever. So that's what I was kind of listening for. I think there was a guy just there on the right that was calling it out for this race, but I don't think he called it out just yet. But I'm trying to push it out. So every time that I get on the front here, I'm gonna push it out, harder than some of the other guys were doing. I think, for one, I think they were tired because they had been out there a lot longer than I had. Julian obviously had been putting out some attacks early on in the race, and then they got into a break, a few laps before we joined them, and after we bridged up to them. So I think that's why they were kind of holding back a little bit on their pushes. But when I got up there, I was definitely wanting to push. I wanted to push this break out as far as possible, and because I knew, if I'm with the peloton at the end, I still have a chance, obviously, with my sprint. But I knew if I could dwindle the numbers down here, it's much better chances for me as well. Being a sprinter and one of the stronger guys in the peloton. Plus, I knew Max was going to push it pretty hard in this one as well. So here we go. You can see, I believe that's Tyler. That's Tyler there. Okay. He was kind of holding back a little bit here, but here we go. I'm gonna jump on the front again. Do my strong pull. You can see over 400, some 500 watts here. Got to scrub it down a little bit to go around the turns. But yeah, like I said, when I was on the front, I'm gonna be pushing it. I'm trying to get as much time as possible around this 180. And this, I've been in breaks before, obviously on this course and in these races, but they haven't gone the distance or got caught pretty close to the front. And Max is yelling at him right now. He's like, we got to pull, we got to keep going. So Max was definitely wanting this thing to work as well. I think he lost his other teammate. He kind of fell back. He had been in the break earlier on, and I think he ended up getting a little bit tired being out there and pushing as hard as he was. So he fell back. Max is really wanting this thing to work. I'm wanting this to work. He's yelling at the young guys over here to make sure this is working and pushing out these pulls. But you can kind of tell just from body language sometimes when you're looking, and also if you look at the speed as well, you can kind of tell who's putting in good work and who is not. And sometimes I felt like Seamus here was putting in some good work, and then other times he was kind of holding back a little bit, as well as some of the other guys in the breakaway. So I felt like if they weren't going to, then maybe we could leave them behind. Max and I were perfectly fine on keep pulling the rest of the guys around and pushing this thing out. All right, so coming around here, this is lap 16 going into 17, and we had an unfortunate accident going around the 180 here. This is the safety Herbie rider, Anders, so he went down. I believe it was a collarbone issue, if I'm not mistaken. So he, obviously was without it for the rest of the race, and so we had to go around a little bit more around that 180 than normal. But he was in good spirits, and he'll be back racing and back on the bike, I'm sure soon. Just got to heal up, obviously. Takes a little bit of time, so wish him well as well. We are back on the front again, pushing out. I think we got word or from one of the officials or somebody out there that it was like 25 seconds or something like that at this point. I think that's what I heard. I'm trying to remember on the day when exactly that was, but I think it was just around that time that we went around there. And then obviously with the wreck, we knew that it was going to slow down the rest of the peloton a little bit more as well. So we'd probably gain a little bit more time out front from that. So we kept on pushing and trying to make sure. And then when I did hear that, I think I knew at that point, like, we had this, we just had to, hold for basically the next 10 minutes. And that's when, I skipped the pull there. And yeah, at this point, like, I kind of knew that we were away enough and that we kind of had this. So I wasn't really trying to skip a pull, but Max kind of jumped in right in front there, and so I just let him. So here we go, coming down to the last couple laps. I believe there's Seamus on the front there. I'm getting ready to take a pull here. We've been trading. We've been doing a pretty good job. We haven't been pushing out, I guess, as hard as we were earlier. But we're still pushing. I think the games have kind of begun a little bit as well in this race. So we're kind of all looking around to see who's going to make a move, who's going to try something at this point. Like we have the time to do that at this point because we've pushed out the lead enough that the peloton's a non-factor as well. So that's why I'm kind of looking back. I'm seeing who's going to do this. We're going 22, 23 miles an hour, so I don't have to push out those 400 watts, pulls. I'm waiting on this, basically. So Seamus takes the first move here, and this is going into the last lap. So Seamus takes the first move, and I don't want to let him get too far away because I know he's a strong guy. And he could possibly take it if we don't close it down, but I also don't want to close it too quickly, because maybe somebody like this right here, Julian, will go after it, and then that puts me in a good position for this last lap going through here. So he kind of puts himself in the middle there, but obviously Julian's put out a lot of attacks and stuff like that throughout this race, so I wasn't banking on him having the legs for this last little bit here. And obviously I'm still feeling good because we've been playing games for the last few laps, and I'm just ready for my spot here in the on the track. So I'm gearing up, I'm looking around, I'm looking back, and I see out of the corner of my eye, who was that? That was John. John was actually lapped, but he was helping out the other hub guys. But I saw him kind of moving up, and I didn't want him to get a lead out, so I took my big watt bomb there on the back stretch, put out a big gap there, and here we go, going in with 300 meters left to go. I just got to hold it till the finish here, and I don't see anybody else back here. Not anywhere close, I guess. So I just got to hold this out to the finish, and there we go. About to cross the finish line. Second one in a row. Boom, right there. Post up. And a successful breakaway. And finished it out. Max in second there, and I believe Seamus ended up third. So another great one. Another win for me at the Music City Crit Series. Second one in a row, about a month apart though. So feeling good. Feeling good about my chances in the next one as well, around the kidney bean. And so, yeah, I'm getting ready for that one. That one hopefully will be up on the channel soon as well. Try to make sure I get these videos done for you guys. But anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you know when I post videos. Yo, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.